Friends, as we know that interviews are very difficult to crack. So you ever thinking about what type of questions may be asked in the interviews, specifically in accounting professions. So if you are going for an interview for accounting positions, so you must have some knowledge on basic questions and their answers. So here is an effort to give in some most important questions that may be asked in the interview and their answers. So let's start and listen it very keeping your focus in the video and let's start it again without wasting our time. So there may be questions like, what is the difference between capital expenditure and revenue expenditure? So what will be its answers? Answer is, capital expenditure is incurred to acquire or improve a long-term asset and provides benefit for more than one accounting period. For example, purchase of machinery, building or major equipment. These are all capital expenditure. So what is revenue expenditure? Revenue expenditure is incurred for the normal day-to-day operation of the business, such as salary, electricity repairs and office expenses. Revenue expenditure is generally charged to the statement of profit and loss. What are the basic financial statement? What are the three basic financial statement? Answer: the three main financial statements are: balance sheet shows the financial position of the company including assets, liabilities and equity. Number 2, statement of profit and loss shows income, expenses and profit and loss for a period. Cash flow statement. Number 3, cash flow statement shows cash inflows and outflows from operating, investing and financing activities. Now third question, what is the difference between a trial balance and a balance sheet? Answer: a trial balance is a list of all ledgers account balances prepared mainly to check the arithmetical accuracy of accounting entries. A balance sheet is a financial statement showing the company's asset, liabilities and equity at a particular date. Again, a balance sheet is a financial statement showing company's asset, liabilities and equity at a particular date. A trial balance is an internal accounting tool, whereas balance sheet is part of financial statement. What is depreciation? Depreciation is a systematic allocation of the depreciable amount of a tangible asset over its useful life. For example, if machinery cost 10 lakh, has a useful life of 10 years and has no residual value, depreciation under the straight line method would generally be 1 lakh per year. Under the Ind AS, depreciation is governed primarily by Ind AS 16, property, plant and equipment. Next, what is the difference between provision and reserve? A provision is an amount recognized for known liability or expected loss, where the amount or timing may be uncertain. It is generally charged against profit. A reserve represents an appropriation of profit retained in the business for a specific or general purpose. For example, provision for doubtful debts is a provision, while general reserve is a reserve. Then what is Next, what is working capital? Working capital represents the funds available for company's day-to-day operation. Working capital is equal to current asset minus current liabilities. For example, if current assets are 50 crore and current liabilities are 35 crore, working capital would be 15 crore. A finance manager should closely monitor receivables, inventory, payables, and cash to manage working capital efficiently. What is a bank reconciliation statement? This question is often asked in across the accounting interview. What is bank reconciliation statement? Answer: a bank reconciliation statement or BRS reconciles the balance showing in the company's cash book with the balance showing in the bank statement. Common reason for differences include check issued but not presented, check deposited but not cleared, bank charges, direct deposits by customer, interest credited by the bank, standing instructions or direct debits, errors in the books or bank statement. Regular BRS helps identify errors and improves cash control. What is accrual accounting? Answer: under accrual accounting, income and expenses are recognized when they are earned or incurred, rather than only when cash is received or paid. For example, electricity expenses relating to March but paid in April should be recognized as an expense of March with a corresponding outstanding liability. For example, electricity expenses relating to March but paid in April should be recognized as an expenses of March with a corresponding outstanding liability. What is deferred tax? Deferred tax arises because the carrying amount of an asset or liability in the financial statements may differ from its tax base. Under the Ind AS 12 income taxes, deferred tax is generally recognized on temporary differences, subject to the applicable recognition requirements. For example, if depreciation under Income Tax Act is different from depreciable under Ind AS, a temporary differences may arise, resulting in deferred tax. What is impairment of an asset? Impairment of assets occurs when carrying amount of an asset exceeds its recoverable amount. Under the Ind AS 36, recoverable amount is generally the higher of fair value less cost of disposal and value in use. If the carrying amount exceeds the recoverable amount, an impairment loss is recognized. How do you control account receivable? If this question is asked, I would control receivables through customer-wise aging analysis, credit limits and credit period monitoring, regular follow-up of overdue amounts, customer reconciliation, dispute resolution, collection targets, monitoring of doubtful debts, periodic reporting of overdue receivables to management. I would particularly focus on DSO, daily sales outstanding, and long outstanding balances. How do you control inventory in a manufacturing company? I would establish controls over raw material receipts and issues, production consumption, work in progress, finished goods, stock transfers, physical verification, slow moving and obsolete inventory, inventory aging, minimum and maximum stock levels, reconciliation between physical stock and books. For a manufacturing company, proper BOM, bills of material consumption analysis, production records, and physical verification are particularly important. What is the difference between a balance sheet approach and profit and loss approach? Answer: the balance sheet approach focuses on identifying temporary difference between the carrying amount of assets or liabilities and their tax basis. Deferred tax is recognized based on their differences. The profit and loss approach focuses mainly on differences between accounting profit and taxable profit. Ind AS 12 follows the balance sheet approach. Now, the question number 14. What accounting controls would you implement as an accounts manager? I would focus on strongly internal control such as proper authorization of transactions, segregation of duties, maker-checker control, bank reconciliations, vendor and customer reconciliation, purchase to payment control, sales to collection controls, physical verification of assets and inventory, periodic review of provisions and accruals, GST and TDS reconciliation, regular review of unusual ledger balances, monthly closings checklist. The objectives is to ensure accuracy, completeness, compliance, and prevention of fraud or error. How do you ensure timely finalization of monthly and annual accounts? I would follow a structured month-end closing process, complete all purchase and sales entries, reconcile bank statement accounts, reconcile customers and vendors, verify inventory and consumptions, record depreciation, pass necessary accruals and provision entries, review GST, TDS and other statutory reconciliation, review intercompany and related party balances, analyze major variations against budgets and previous periods, prepare the trial balance and financial statements, conduct management review before final closure. These are the few important questions may be asked in the interview. Let's prepare for that and hope for the best. Thank you very much. Keep learning and keep watching this video, and if you liked it, please share it and subscribe the channel. Thank you very much.